Class is in session. MLB Hitting the Book Show, Tuesday, September 23rd. Ian Cameron, Connor Mack, and we are here and we have reached the final week of the MLB regular season, the home stretch. We've got still divisions on the line, playoff spots on the line. It is still a lot to be decided, really, in the American League and the National League between now and Sunday, the final day of the regular season. Looking forward to breaking down the card. Before we get into Tuesday's card, we do want to make just a little announcement here that obviously we've got 3 more shows this week for MLB Hitting the Books. Today, we will have one tomorrow, and we will have one on Friday, which will be the final full MLB Hitting the Books show. But Friday's show at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific will be one that will be a members exclusive MLB Hitting the Books show, as we will have memberships available starting tomorrow on the Hitting the Books YouTube channel. And we will be making that exclusive to people that are members to the channel. So that will be for Friday. And what we'll also do for Friday is not just talk the MLB card. We'll throw in a little NFL week 4 preview.
Because that will be our normal NFL.
Yes.
Like a 30-minute show. But we'll do it this Friday. We'll do MLB, and then we'll hit some NFL at the end. I think it'll be perfect.
Exactly. And then starting next Friday at that 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific time, we'll just come on for a quick 15, 20, 30-minute show on Fridays to talk NFL, and we'll start that, just NFL, obviously, the following Friday. This Friday, we'll do, obviously, the final MLB full card breakdown on Hitting the Books, and then, of course, do a little NFL Week 4 preview. That'll be members only, so make sure you sign up to the channel as a member on our Hitting the Books YouTube channel for that. We're looking forward to giving you a little bonus content to the members that sign up here on the Hitting the Books YouTube channel. All right, let's get into Tuesday's MLB slate, and boy, oh boy, lots to be decided the next 5 days, the final 5 days, 6 days, I should say, of the MLB season coming up. We'll begin with a game where there's nothing on the line, really. Tampa Bay and Baltimore. We've got Ryan Pepio and Dean Kramer on the mound here. Even money, minus 110, both sides. 8.5 the total here in this game. Pepio got kind of roughed up. Didn't go very deep into the game. Got, taken out in the second inning against Toronto. He was pitching better before that. So which version of Pepio steps up here? He was pitching well until he ran into the Blue Jays. He struggled in that game. Can he bounce back is the question. Dean Kramer all year has been better at home than he's been on the road. His road ERA is pretty bad, but his home ERA at Camden Yards is pretty good. We'll see if that can continue here. I don't have anything here, really. No bet. It's a Baltimore team that didn't exactly hit the ball well over the weekend against the New York Yankees. The offense kind of struggled there a little bit. But I got nothing here. I don't even have a lean, really, a side or total. C-Mac, what do you think? Tampa Bay, Baltimore.
Yeah, me too. This game, I thought there's some of these lineups if you're looking at props, I thought you could maybe look at Camaro's 4 for 7, or a few. Henderson had some good numbers. And I wanted to double check the lineup. Yeah, he's hitting third. Yeah, so there was a few of that. I don't know what we get with these pitchers. Kramer's been better at home, like you talked about. And it seemed like he just had those rough starts. He's come back and had good ones where he gave up nothing. He just gave up 2 on the road. And he's been a guy I talk about a ton. It's just tough to figure out for me all year long. If I had to, I'd lean to the O's. I think both these teams are out of it. It's just kind of get over here. The season's over. I know, especially at like these prices. I mean, like you're not getting a bunch of value. I'd look at if one was like a big dog. I think it's a pass.
All right, Pittsburgh Pirates, Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati with Brady Singer on the mound. Johan Oviedo for the Pirates. We've got Cincy minus 160, home favorites, total 8 across the board in this game. Johan Oviedo for the Pirates, who has, for the most part, had been pitching pretty well since returning to the Pirates rotation. He did struggle in his last start against the Cubs, gave up 4 runs on 5 hits in just 5 innings. Worth noting, the Pirates are just 1-4 in Oviedo's last 5 starts, even though he's pitched pretty solidly in a few of those outings. And on the flip side, you got Brady Singer, who has been really strong, really on top of his game for Cincinnati. They're 4-1 in his last 5 starts. He has a 2.43 ERA during that span. Pitched very well, really since the middle of August. He has been really, really good for the Reds. Big part of the reason why this Reds team has certainly made this push for the final wild card spot incredibly because of the New York Mets, who we will get to in a second. Because they can't get out of their own way, the Cincinnati Reds now have control of their own destiny for the final wild card spot, which is incredible. That now the Mets actually need to win and get help if they're going to make it as a wild card team. So the Reds certainly control their own destiny. I like them in this game and in this spot. Pittsburgh's been a horrible road team all year. We know that. Cincinnati's rolling. That was a great series for them over the weekend against the Cubs. I'm going to go with Cincinnati -1 on the run line. That's -1 on the run line at -114. I think they just continue to get the job done. Their pitching is very good. Their bullpen's been pretty good lately, and their offense for a bit was kind of scuffling there, but we're starting to see them get a couple of key hits now of late during this win streak. C-Mac, what do you think? Pirates, Reds?
I think so too. This line has come down when you look at the total. I mean, there's even a few 7.5s out there now, a little bit. So maybe this game is low scoring. Oviedo, hasn't had a ton of starts. He's looked pretty good. His last one, he kind of got roughed up. To me, it's like the Reds here, a little bit the under. Like I just had trouble with this Reds lineup. I mean, it's open 145. We're up to 175. Some spots, all the money's on them, so it's lines running that way. So as I also looked at the Reds team total first 5 over 2.5 at +110. But I've had trouble with this Reds offense back and forth. I don't know when it's going to happen. But I was looking at that, and that's it. I kind of lean under if you get have an 8, but.
Yeah, I think the under makes sense. I would lean that way too, as far as the total.
I think Singer pitches well. The Pirates team total under. I don't know.
Like I said, I think they can. Yeah, that might be if you don't like the price enough on the Reds and you don't want to bet the run line because you don't trust the lineup. You could go with Pirates team total under. That is an alternative option there for you. It doesn't get any bigger than this. I mean, this is incredible that here we are now talking about the AL Central division on the line potentially, with where the standings were at a month ago. And the Tigers had almost a double-digit lead in the division a month ago. And now here we are where they have a 1-game lead. This would be an unreal collapse if the Detroit Tigers lose the division. Forget losing the division. They could miss the playoffs entirely. That's where we're at with the Detroit Tigers and how bad this slump has been for them. It's not even a slump anymore. It's a full-on collapse. It's a full-on free fall. That's what it is with this Detroit Tigers team. And they will try to somehow stop the bleeding here tonight against a team that's the polar opposite right now. The Cleveland Guardians, as hot as can be, although they did drop the final game of the series against Minnesota. In spite of that, they have been playing outstanding baseball. We have Tarek Skubal for the Tigers on the mound, Gavin Williams for the Guardians in the first game of this critical series. Detroit -160, a road favorite, 6.5 the total. And to make matters worse and to put even more pressure on Detroit, Cleveland's got the tiebreaker between these two teams. So if they end up tied at the end of the season, Cleveland's going to get it over Detroit. So it becomes even more imperative for Detroit to try to get off the schneid and back on track. They got the right guy on the mound, that I will say. Tarek Skubal, who, of course, had another strong season. He's given up 1 run or less in 3 of his last 4 starts. He had a bad outing against Miami and a bad outing against the A's, but his other starts were tremendous. He has absolutely shut down Cleveland, giving up 1 run in 22 innings against Cleveland this season. That being said, he just faced Cleveland in Detroit last week, and he pitched great. He shut him down again. 1 run in 6 innings, but his team lost. The Tigers lost that game 3-1 because the Tigers lineup couldn't hit, and the Cleveland bullpen outpitched the Detroit bullpen in that game. So even with another brilliant start by Skubal against the Guardians, they lost Detroit 3-1 to Cleveland in that game just 5 days ago. Yes, I know he's owned Cleveland, but you flip it around to Gavin Williams, who has given up 2 runs or less now in 4 straight starts for Cleveland. Cleveland's won all 4 of those starts. Gavin Williams' track record against, you'd think, wait a minute, Skubal's numbers against Cleveland are awesome. There's no way Williams' numbers against Detroit could be better than that. They are. They are. Gavin Williams has not given up a run. That's right. He has not given up a single run to the Detroit Tigers in 3 starts against them since the beginning of last year, he has a 16-inning shutout streak ongoing against the Detroit Tigers. 16 innings without giving up a run to the Detroit Tigers for Gavin Williams entering this game tonight. So, again, the reason Detroit's a minus 160 favorite, even though they stink, even though they're in free fall, even though Cleveland's red hot in comparison, is the Tarek Skubal tax. And because of the Tarek Skubal tax, you're getting great value with the better team, the hotter hitting lineup, the better bullpen, and it's not even close with the bullpens. Detroit has a 5 ERA in the last 10 games from their bullpen. Cleveland's bullpen has a 2.6 ERA in the last 10 games. Give me Cleveland here, plus 140. This is a Tarek Skubal tax and a Tarek Skubal tax only. You can't tell me that anything else with these two baseball teams warrants Detroit a minus 160 favorite right here tonight. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the tax has shrunk, though, too. I mean, this would have been fucking at least minus 200 or higher just a couple weeks ago. Even on the road, I think, or right around there, minus 200. One thing is, these two teams play a totally different baseball, like you talked about. But the Tigers are ever going to win here. You got the guy on the mound. This is what you want. Like, if
problem
they
is,
could
they
ever...
had him on the mound 5 days ago and they still lost.
Oh, I know. That's another thing. That's my next thing. Is this is a little tough. Is that can't take Tigers. It'd be Guardians or Pass. It's just they just saw these guys 5 days ago, and Gavin Williams though just been guys just goes out there and just pitches well. He's just been 6 innings. He's barely giving up any runs, and he's 11-5 now in the years. ERA is almost just above 3. He's lowered it, so now we got a 6.5. So I think it's a tight, low-scoring game. It's tough. 6.5, but even with the bullpens, then you get the first 5. It's just so. Yeah, I think it's Guardians or nothing. I mean, what team do you want right now?
I know which one. I know the answer to that one, and it's not the road team there in that game. All right, Miami and Philadelphia. We've got Edward Cabrera, Christopher Sanchez on the mound. Philadelphia minus 220, home favorites, 7.5 the total here in this game. You look at the standings right now in the National League. You look at Milwaukee and Philly. I mean, there's still a battle, you could say, for the number 1 seed, even though they both clinched their divisions. I don't think Philly's going to get it. They're 3 games still back of Milwaukee, or 2.5. But they still have an outside chance, Philly, for the number 1 seed overall in the National League. I don't know if they're going to go balls to the wall final week of the season, though, for it. What I do know is Christopher Sanchez has been great at home. I do not want to fade Christopher Sanchez at home. Edward Cabrera, at times he can pitch lights out, have his stuff working, and at times he's been a little bit vulnerable for the Marlins. Look at the last start. He got crushed by the Mets, give up 6 runs, 8 hits in 4 innings. Like I said, Sanchez has just been tremendous at home. This is Phillies or pass for me, but, it's just not good enough of a price, so it's no bet for me. C-Mac, Marlins, Phillies.
Yeah, it's tight, but there's 2 there. I think this is an under. I think Sanchez pitches well here. Not that he was awful. He kind of hung in there at the Dodgers. They got to him in that game. I mean, we talked about there could have been runs with him on the road. So I was looking at Marlins team total under, just the under here, especially at 8. Just still out there. There's some 7.5. I got to think Cabrera, he has some pretty good numbers against the Phillies. I mean, they've hit him at times, and he's pitched really, really well. Like you talked about, it's been a little bit up and down. He has struggled on the road. But he's coming off an awful road start. I got to think he pitches better here. So that's why I like the under in this game.
All right, under for C-Mac. All right, White Sox and Yankees. We've got Shane Smith, Luis Heel, the pitching matchup. Yankees minus 230, 240 home favorites, 8.5, 9 the total, depending on where you look. Luis Heel had been pitching quite well for the Yankees, not the last start for them, though. He struggled in his last outing for the Yankees, giving up 5 runs, 9 hits, and 4.2 innings against Minnesota. That being said, he was bailed out by his lineup as the Yankees gave him run support. They still won that game 10-5. We'll see if Heel can bounce back here in this outing. Shane Smith, he kind of had been pitching well, but he also had a rough outing last time he pitched against Baltimore, giving up 6 runs, 9 hits, and 4.1 innings. Pitched well against the Yankees in Chicago, 2 runs, 6.1 innings. Luis Heel also pitched well against the White Sox earlier this year, 2 runs, 4 hits in 5.1 innings. So both of these respective pitchers who faced these teams earlier this year both pitched well. Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are doing what they should be doing. They're beating the bad teams, and they've done that all year. Obviously, they are trying to nail down a playoff spot. They're trying to make sure they finish second in the AL East and the top wild card so they get home field. They have an outside chance of still winning the division, but they're running out of games, and they're still 3 games back of Toronto if you include the tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker goes to Toronto. So that's why it's going to be an uphill battle for the Yankees to win the division. Still a small chance. I mean, the Jays, haven't been nearly as good, and the Yankees have been winning, but it's still a very, very small chance for the Yankees to win the division. It's more likely that they're going to be the top wild card, and they're closing in on clinching that. So obviously they're playing to win here down the stretch, but no, not at minus 240. Not interested. C-Mac, what do you think? White Sox, Yankees?
I could take the Yankees. I don't give a shit if they're playing better. And the White Sox are just playing so bad right now. And what do we get from Smith, who's pitched well? He's had some good starts just August 30th against the Yankees. I think that's his only one. Yeah, I think he maybe has one other one. Anyways, they're in just a $1.15 off him. No one's really got to him much. Judge has a homer. So, yeah, also the under, I thought a little bit. I mean, the White Sox, have they lost 9 in a row? Or have they won one here?
The White Sox, I know, are 2-8 in their last 10, 1-8 in their last 9. They had
1-8.
They had lost 6 in a row. They beat San Diego in the first game of that series, and then lost the last 2.
Yeah, the bats just have
but yeah, it's
kind of gone cold here at the end of the year. Well, the bats were pretty good early on. So, but yeah, just a big price for the Yankees. I got to be off. If you like the Yankees, take the team total or the run line, if you don't mind that.
All right, Boston Red Sox, Toronto Blue Jays. We've got Kevin Gausman and Lucas Giolito on the mound here. Toronto minus 160, home favorites, 8 the total in this game. I still don't bet against Toronto at home. They've been that good at Rogers Center, but I'm not laying this price with the Jays here either. And I don't really want to fade Kevin Gausman. He's been absolutely spectacular. You can make the case he's been the Jays' best pitcher here for the last month. He's been tremendous. This is a big series because the Jays are still trying to lock up the AL East and clinch the division, and they're closing in on that. They get one step closer with a win, and Boston's trying to just make sure they get a playoff spot and make sure they get in as a wild card. So both teams have something to play for here tonight and in this series. So it should be a good series between these two teams. Giolito, he's had some good outings. How will he fare here in this ballpark is going to be the question. Sometimes that can be difficult for road pitchers. You look at him against the Jays in the past. He did pitch well against them in Boston, struggled a bit, though, in Toronto and gave up 2 homers when he pitched here in Toronto earlier this year. And he did struggle in his last start against the A's at Fenway Park, gave up 4 runs on 5 hits in 4.1 innings. If I had to lean someplace, I mean, Gausman's been lights out. Toronto's been great at home. I could only take Toronto, but I don't like the price enough at minus 160. So pass for me. C-Mac, Red Sox, Blue Jays.
Yeah, Blue Jays scuffling a little bit here the last week or so. With Giolito, his walks has always been his problem. And he's walking 4 or 5, usually gives up 4 or 5 runs. He's kind of off a bad start. I think he could pitch better.
14
in
the
this
last
game.
4 starts. Walks, Giolito. Yeah. That is too many. Yep.
That's what's because I like this under. First 5 under. There's 4.5. It is juice a little bit, minus 125. Gausman's just so good. So good lately. I don't know. I think the price is crazy here. I think the Red Sox are at this price. I got to take them with everything that's going on here with this division. Everyone needs to basically win. We talked about the Yankees, these 2 teams as well. So value here with me is the Red Sox, plus 140, and I'm looking at that under this game.
All right, leaning Red Sox and under here in this one. All right, Washington and Atlanta. We've got Brandon Lord and we've got Hudson Waldrop, the pitching matchup here in this one. Atlanta minus 190, home favorites, and the total is 8.5, 9, depending on where you look. Brad Lord, his numbers actually aren't that bad the last couple starts, but I don't buy it. I don't think he's that particularly good. and Atlanta's crushing it right now. I mean, their offense, Atlanta, there's the reason why they've won 10 in a row. It's too little too late, but what a finish to the season the Braves are having. They are crushing the ball. I mean, up and down the lineup, they're scoring 5-6 runs a night minimum during this win streak. They haven't scored fewer than 5 runs in any of the games during this current 10-game win streak. I think they score some runs tonight. I'm still not a believer in Hurston Waldrep. I know he's pitched pretty solid overall, but there's some warning signs here. There's control issues. The xFIP and the FIP are higher than his ERA. Something tells me this guy is eventually going to get hit. We've already seen some signs of it. You know, Houston got 8 runs against him a couple of starts ago, and now Washington's going to get a second chance to face him in a short period of time. I think this is an over, high-scoring game, or Atlanta team total over. I mean, Atlanta team total has gone over in pretty much every game recently, but I think Washington can score some runs tonight here as well. So I like this over. CMAC, Nats, Braves.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Maybe the Braves team total. And this is just another one, though, where they just saw each other, 5 days ago, 6 days ago. So that's the only thing and the Braves just red hot. I think that's the only way you can look. Walter, you talked about, maybe he's just going to get by here by the end of the year. It's going to show up next year for sure. Even though I think he has some all right stuff. But seeing his numbers in the minors and everything you're talking about, I think he could hit around. But he's been pitching well, so just ride the Braves in this game. And seeing each other twice, total's too high. Like, I think there's runs. Like, 9 too high. Because I initially looked at this, maybe an under. Not the way the Braves are scoring runs,
All right, Mets and Cubs, even money both sides, -110, 7.5 the total. David Peterson and Cade Horton, the pitching matchup here. Look, I think the Mets are terrible right now. I think they're friggin' awful. David Peterson's not pitching well. He's hit the shits big time. Bullpen stinks. Offense is spotty right now. I mean, there's not really a lot I like about the Mets. Now, the Cubs don't have a lot at stake. They've already clinched their playoff spot. They can't move up. They're not going to win the division. Milwaukee's already clinched it. And I like Cade Horton a little bit. I'm on the Cubs here. Like, I know the Mets have everything to play for, and there's not much going on for the Cubs here. It's not like there's much on the line for them. But the Mets keep losing games to teams that are.
Can they hit Horton?
How do you have faith in them? Yeah, they're terrible right now.
Tough.
And it looks like they're. I don't want to say it's a harsh word, but they look like they're choking under the pressure. Seriously, the New York Mets right now. That was a horrible series for them over the weekend against the Washington Nationals. So, yeah, I have a small bet on the Cubs here. I just think the Mets, the pressure's getting to them, and they are not performing well under it. CMAC, we might be talking, I can't believe it, we might be talking about the New York Mets out of the playoffs come Sunday at the end of the regular season. Hard to believe with that payroll. Hard to believe with what they paid Soto, and they re-signed Alonso, and with all the money attached to some of their star players that this collapse could happen and they miss the playoffs entirely. It's really hard to believe it could happen. CMAC, what do you think? Mets, Cubs.
I mean, Horton hasn't given up more than 2 earned since July 9th. I mean, he's just been money. So, and really, really good at home. Peterson, for the most part, he's had a pretty good year. I want to back him at home, not on the road. I don't know if the Mets could do it. Like, even with the Cubs locking it up, I need a better price with the Mets. And these guys, like Soto, this whole lineup, Nemo, I mean, the guy's hitting 4th. Like, get it together. I just can't. I couldn't do it, I just can't look at the Mets. And total's low here. Wind's kind of blowing in a little bit. This could be low scoring, but I stayed off, at the 7, the under.
All right, Minnesota Twins, Texas Rangers, Texas -140, home favorites, 8 the total. Zebby Matthews, Patrick Corbin, the pitching matchup. Corbin's definitely got the better numbers than Zebby Matthews. There's no doubt. We keep talking about Zebby every time we bring him up when he starts for Minnesota. He's been disappointing. We think he's got good stuff, but he just hasn't been able to put it together. That being said, I don't know how you lay a price with Texas right now. They've basically folded the tent and gone home. Like, they know it's not happening, the playoffs. That Astros sweep that they suffered sunk them. Marlins roll in there and, just pummel them. Miami walks into Texas and takes care of them. They're a fade city right now, Texas. There's not a lot of inspiration right now with this Texas team. There's nothing really that how can you lay it with this team? They suck right now. They're not hitting. The bullpen's collapsed. The only advantage they have is Corbin over Matthews, because Corbin has pitched well and Matthews hasn't. But I'm willing to look past that. Texas is just an easy fade for me as a favorite right now with the way they've played. They've collapsed. They're on a massive losing streak. When you get swept by the Marlins at home, you have no business, I think, being trusted as a favorite. So give me Minnesota here. The Twinks, plus 120. C-Mac, what do you think?
This is normally, I've done a ton, fade Matthews on the road, and I still think it could be. But he's off a horrible outing. And was it? It was on the road as well?
Yep.
Sorry, I had it pulled up. No, it was at home.
At home.
It's the Yankees. Yeah, he gave up 11 hits. I talked about it. He's had all right stuff, and most of his better starts have been at home since the last one. I want to fade him. But the Rangers, just aren't hitting. Because I looked at this. I take the Rangers to get 3 in the first 5. And that's what I'd be on in this game because I just don't trust Matthews. But I pass, especially to cut this Rangers down. If they're going to get to him, they're going to get to Matthews. Yeah. Take the better price, first 5, I think, than mess around with that number full game.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. I saw
the Twins got a bad bullpen, but that's up to you.
Texas hit it is the question. Yeah, there's no doubt, no question.
Yeah, they just haven't scored the runs in those games. The Marlins, it was a struggle. Watch,
Yeah, no doubt. I just think at this price, I'm okay taking a shot with Minnesota. All right, Kansas City, LA Angels. Cole Reagan's on the mound for the Royals in this one, and we've got Sam Aldigari on the mound here for the Angels. Kansas City minus 160. Road favorites, 8.5, 9 the total in this game. If I had to bet something, I'd probably lean Kansas City, but not at minus 160 on the road. It's pretty tough to back the Angels, though. Holy shit, they're bad right now. 1-9 in their last 10 games. It's a pass. It's a no bet. This is just not the price I like Kansas City, but obviously I'd rather back the Royals than the Angels, but no bet. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I was going through this. I mean, a lot of Angel love, I guess, at home. They just keep losing. This line's going the other way for the Royals. That means the Royals team total for me, and just over, I think, in this game gets over. Right? I think he's just going to go 4 or 5. He doesn't look right, too.
No.
So even though the Angels really haven't been hitting, so Royals team total here early, I think they can get some runs. I know the price looks pretty crazy here, but I grabbed 8.5 earlier on the over. So there are 9s, but I think this game goes over.
Yeah, they've been trending over lately, Kansas City, because they've been hitting a little bit better.
These series between these two, like Kansas City, I think all unders, they stayed under.
Yeah.
The Royals finally, of course, the last 2 weeks of the year, they want to score some runs.
Yeah.
And I just think bad bullpens. I think this game gets over.
All right, over the total here. All right, Angels and Dodgers and Diamondbacks. We've got Shohei Ohtani and Brandon Pfaadt, the pitching matchup. Dodgers minus 160, road favorites, 9 the total here in this game. If you look at the wild card race, Arizona's still right there, 1 game behind the Mets and the Reds. Every game crucial. I mean, I'm taking them here plus 140. I like this price. Pfaadt suddenly pitched very well at home here at Chase Field. The numbers for Brandon Pfaadt are actually quite solid in recent games at home. Shohei Ohtani is going to, do what he normally does. He's going to go, 4 or 5 innings. That's usually what you get from him. He's pitched okay. Like, he's given up 1 run in his last 13 innings, yet the Dodgers haven't been winning with him on the mound. We've talked about this before. They're 1-4 in his last 5 starts. Like I said, with Pfaadt, he's given up just 1 run in his last 15 innings pitched here in Arizona. He has had some difficulty with the Dodgers this year, but both of those games he struggled with them were in L.A., not in Arizona. He actually did pitch well his one-time pitching in Arizona against the Dodgers. He shut him out in 6.1 innings. So I think it's a live home dog here, Diamondbacks plus 140. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, this one is this could be a dead under. These guys pitch well. All right, these guys could get hit, and then we could get late in a bunch of runs. I don't know what the fuck happens. With Pfaadt, he's way better. This is where you want him at home. Maybe the guy's a 7 whatever on the road, and he's a 3.15 here at home. And he's had some good starts. He's against the Dodgers had some horrible starts. There's some good numbers. I think the Dodgers could still get to him today, but he's been looking a lot better as of late. And Ohtani, he's just going to go 4 or 5. I think if you like the Dodgers, you take them early. I just can't take the Dodgers full game. This bullpen still sucks. I don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs. They're going to really rely on these starters, and a few of these guys. Like obviously Kershaw, I don't know. Maybe they can get Sheehan. Some of these guys are just going to have to be in the pen, which is going to help them out. I think a couple of those guys like that, because it's rough right now. All that fucking money, get it together.
Yep, didn't put enough. Didn't put enough in invest. Didn't invest well enough in the bullpen. That has become clear for the LA Dodgers. All right, Milwaukee and San Diego. We've got Bailey Zimmerman and Randy Vasquez, the pitching matchup here. Minus 110, minus 115. Slight road favorites. The Brewers 8.5 the total. I like Milwaukee in this spot. Big comeback win for San Diego. Clinched a playoff spot last night with that victory. They did the old clubhouse beer celebration for clinching a playoff spot. Maybe a little hangover in effect here tonight for the Padres. Brewers are always good off a loss. So that I like here in this game going for them. I also think they match up very well against Randy Vasquez. They've hit lefties righties, I should say, pretty solid of late. So I like Milwaukee here. We're fading San Diego off the playoff clinch last night where they celebrated late into the night. Nice spot to go against them here. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, no way I'm taking the Padres. It's Brewers. I agree with you here. Take them.
Yep.
They celebrated the big win late. Why they were fucked up.
Yeah, good spot here. This is always what I do, especially with no day off and they celebrate a clinch of a playoff spot or a division the night before. I always go against the team in that spot the very next night. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. All right, St. Louis and San Francisco. We've got Andre Palante, Logan Webb, the pitching matchup. San Francisco minus 200 home favorites, 7.5 the total in this game. This is definitely a Logan Webb at home tax here on San Francisco, laying this big price. But I want to point out to you, his last 3 starts in San Francisco haven't been his best. He's actually given up 13 runs in his last 17 innings pitched at home, Logan Webb, for a place he usually pitches lights out. Not nearly. It's funny. He's kind of got the reverse thing going on where he's actually pitched better on the road here in some of his last few starts, Logan Webb. So we'll see how he fares here. I don't trust Palante, though. He's given up 9 runs in his last 10 innings for the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis gets the victory 6-5 last night. I might think this has a chance. Now, maybe Webb turns back the clock here and he pitches lights out at home and he shuts down St. Louis. He's capable of it. But he hasn't pitched well 2 starts in a row at home. Sneaky lineups right now, both of them offensively. Maybe a sneaky over with this total being at 7.5. I'm kind of leaning that way. C-Mac, what do you think? Cardinals, Giants.
Yeah, what are we going to get for Webb? I mean, Palante, he doesn't have great numbers against these Giants, so they've hit him well. I think you look at Thomas, Chapman, Devers, I think can do it too. But the price here, just off that, and how Webb's been pitching even at home, you can't take the Giants at all. So maybe that means there's runs. Yeah. If I had to, I'm off here. If I had to, I'd take the Cardinals. Lean over. But
oh, yeah.
I'm
not leaning. Yeah, I'm not leaning.
Yeah.
200
no
either.
way.
I'm not laying that price. No way. All right. Last game, Houston Astros, Athletics. We've got minus 110 even money both sides, 10.5 the total. What a brutal weekend for Houston. Like they basically lost the division with that sweep at the hands of Seattle at home. I mean, wow. What a job by the Mariners. And now the Astros are basically pretty much, and they lose the tiebreaker as well to Seattle. So not only are they 3 games back, you can might as well say they're 4 games back because they lose the tiebreaker. They're basically just trying to hang on for a wild card at this spot. And right now they're tied with Cleveland for that final wild card spot in the American League. And right now Cleveland has it by virtue of tiebreaker. So here's another team like the Mets in the National League. The Astros could shockingly find themselves out of the playoffs. And that would be pretty colossal failure for this organization if they don't make the playoffs. So they need a win in the worst way, but I'm not trusting them. And I'm not trusting Javier. Christian Javier has not been lights out since returning to the rotation. He's been up, he's been down. He's been a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. Now, Jeffrey Springs has not pitched well here in this ballpark, Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. Some of his recent home starts, he's been crushed. I still remember that Boston game where they got 4 or 5 runs off him right in the first inning. So I don't know if I trust Springs all that much. This is definitely a lean over, warm night. in Sacramento. Wind blowing out slightly, not as strong as some of the other games we've seen in this ballpark with the wind, but certainly still hitter conditions. I'd lean over. I'd lean A's. I'm not trusting Houston, but Springs hasn't been as good in some of his recent home appearances. CMAC, what do you think? Houston Athletics.
Springs has some pretty good numbers against the Astros. I don't trust them at all. Just take the A's or nothing. I think one thing on this total.
Problem is they just got shut out in back-to-back games to end that road trip at Pittsburgh, and I know because I took the A's in those 2 games. They couldn't even score a friggin' run against the Pirates.
I know, but being at this ballpark, we were talking about it because at 10.5. Maybe there was a bunch of runs because I think this game it could be low scoring. Just the teams haven't been hitting. I think the pitchers could pitch well, but you're playing with a little bit of fire at this ballpark, taking it. And Javier, what do we get? It's been a little bit up and down. They need a big outing from him. It's pretty tough. I take the A's. All this love here too. All Astros money here. Yeah, man, it ain't moving.
So the A's are coming off a road trip. I get that. Houston's coming off getting swept at home by Seattle.
That leans to the under too, a little bit. I mean, kind of but it's just the ballpark.
Yeah,
they're pitching. So yeah, when I was going through it earlier.
But you look at the A's in their last homestand. They won the last 4 games of that most recent homestand. The A's, they swept Cincinnati and they won the final game of the series against Boston. So. I just don't trust the Astros. I don't want the Astros. I know everything says that they could bounce back here, but I don't trust them. I'm not backing them. I do have a bet on the over though in that game. All right, there you have it. That's the Tuesday MLB card. Anything home run wise, CMAC? Any Jack of the Day home run props that you bet for tonight?
Yes, I haven't bet anything yet, but I might. We talked about the earlier in that Rays O's game. Those 2 guys, and then late bets, Freddie Freeman, just the numbers that they have. Both have woke up a little bit, from just being dormant, having horrible stretches there. So look to bets, Freddie Freeman, their RBI as well. And just to touch on, I don't know if we get a ton of runs in the game, but Kirk, 4 bombs off Giolito. Is he in the lineup? Everything good here?
Alejandro Kirk, yes, I believe he's in. Yeah.
Is he in?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Duran too. He was 8 for 22. Just a couple that I was looking at against Gossman. He is.
Yeah. He rested
Kirk's
Sunday in the finale against Kansas City. He didn't play in that game, but he is in as the catcher tonight for the Blue Jays. And why wouldn't he be? Better be with numbers like that against Lucas Giolito.
Yes, he better be in the fucking lineup.
Just when I'm starting to get.
I've seen it before though. Yeah. I've seen it. If that's his rest day, they just fucking. Rest. I've seen managers do it though, like they'll sit
Houston. I was just thinking, do you think these teams that could collapse, Detroit? I don't think they'd fire AJ Hinch, but could the Mets fire Mendoza? Could the Astros fire Joe Espada? Or some of these managers maybe if they collapse, they collapse some of these teams and miss the playoffs. Could some of these managers' jobs be in jeopardy?
I think so.
Yeah, I think Espada could be gone. Honestly, this would be bad for Houston. I don't know about Mendoza because Mendoza and the Mets had such a magical season last year that they may give him the benefit of the doubt and say, even though this would be a horrible, horrible collapse by the Mets with all that payroll, they'd almost be say, you know what, we got to give him another year just because of what he did last year, and we got to the NLCS. But that's still pretty bad for them. And then when it comes to the what's the other team? The Tiger. I can't see them firing Hinch just yet either. That would be bad too on AJ Hinch, who's a good manager, to collapse and not even make the playoffs. But I think Espada would be the guy that would be the most likely manager fired if any of these 3 teams that could collapse and miss the playoffs: Houston, Mets, and Detroit Tigers. Good stuff. Shout out to the chat: Robert Oliver Carlson, Jay Main, Art P, Thomas Maggio, Gerald Jones, Nick Alvento, Red Beard, Justin McKelvey. We thank all Art P, Jay Main. We thank all you guys: Rich H, Brian Elfring, Gundam Atticus, Derek Bopp, Old E, Timothy Hake. Thank you to everyone for joining us here on this edition of the MLB Hitting the Book show. All right, it's time for bet. I didn't bet any home run props, so I got nothing for you. I passed tonight. So on we go to best bets. CMAC, what do you got for best bet?
Yeah, there are some 8.5s, but there's 9, so I'll stay off that over here. Let's just go to it. Give me the Brewers. I got them first 5, -110. I think they get to Vasquez. Brew Crew, first 5, -110.
All right, good stuff. My best bet. Let's go to that Nats Braves over 8.5. There's some 8.5s -125. Shop around 8.5s, 9s. I got 8.5 -125. I think there's runs. Atlanta's one of the hottest hitting teams right now. I think they do some damage off Brandon Lord. We saw a high scoring game last night with better pitching. I think we'll see more runs again tonight. So Washington, Atlanta over 8.5 for my best bet here for this Tuesday MLB card. Shout out to the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. We're back tomorrow, and then we got a Friday season finale of MLB Hitting the Books. That will be a Hitting the Books YouTube channel members only show. So make sure you join us.
So yeah, tomorrow last show. Yeah. We'll have it all out tomorrow for that, and then we'll have NFL as well Friday.
That's right, and we'll tack on NFL.
We'll double dip.
No, we'll double dip, and then the following Friday, that show will pretty much be NFL only, and anything maybe over the weekend that we're eyeing in other sports. But yeah, just be one of these 15 to 30-minute kind of shows, just as a thank you to everyone that supports.
And what we like
as a membership.
And on props, yeah, we're not going to run through the card or anything. Just what you like, what I like, kind of go through it. Take questions. What you guys want us, whatever you guys want to talk about. In any sport, or if you want to go over quick a college football game, but that's what it's for. We wanted for you guys to do that, because I know we go over most of the big games of college football, because I still get asked that. I'm sure you do too a little bit. But I know they always want some of the G5 obscure games.
Like, we don't do many G5 games on the Hitting the Book show on Mondays. So starting the following Friday, when it's mostly NFL college football focused for that little 30-minute show we're going to do, if you've got a game regarding a specific question about a specific group of 5 college football game, we'll answer it on the Friday show. Yeah, so definitely. So looking forward to that. Again, just as a thank you to those that support the channel via membership subscription. It's just our way to give you some bonus content and saying thank you for supporting us and supporting the channel for sure. Great stuff. For Connor Mack, me and Cameron, that's a wrap. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back with you tomorrow on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, for another edition of the MLB Hitting the Books show. Until then, class dismissed.
Peace.